Bodies Club is a monthly podcast that celebrates bodies because we believe that all bodies are cool bodies.
This episode was recorded on the 24th of February 2019. Hello everyone.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi gang.
Hey Jim. Hey Mike.
Hey Mike.
Oh, yes, Gemma.
Yeah, I'd like to ask you a question.
Ask away.
I've been wondering, where's your body at?
Ooh, good question. I'd like to talk about something that gives me the fear, and I want to know if it gives either of you the fear as well. Mm-hmm. And it's fingernails.
Ooh.
When my fingernails get a little bit too long, I just get a bit edgy, and I find it hard to do anything until I've had a second to just be like, no, everyone shut up, I want to cut my fingernails first.
How long are we talking though?
Not that long, actually.
In millimeters?
Or maybe 2 or 3 off the end.
I think that's just you.
Oh, good.
Might be other people too.
Yeah. Just in this
But in this room, out of this survey section,
I'm
it's
quite
just me.
neutral about nails. I like decorating mine.
I used to be super anal about getting my nails done. I used to file them every day. I used to be super focused on making sure that they were manicured.
Really?
Yeah, I would paint them all the time.
It's fun.
I bought tools. I would do leopard print nails.
Oh, shit, you're in that game.
I was deep. But now I have a nail that I haven't even... What is that? I'm showing Sarah what it is.
Beautiful.
Is it? It's just like I cut it at some point and now I don't...
You missed a bit, I think.
Yeah. Sorry, now I'm making this about me.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Because I was going to say, actually, now, here's the thing. I wonder if I've accidentally stumbled onto a gender thing. Maybe not gender, but a style thing, certainly. Because I've never looked after or done anything to my nails except paint them black once more than once when I was in high school. What is that? Right, I need you to remove the fourth wall on something that I've never done before, which is getting one's nails done. What does that mean?
It's just really nice. I think it's a self-care thing, and it's...
But I mean, physically, what does doing one's nails mean?
Oh, like the process.
right.
Yeah, what is that?
Well, it depends on what you get.
Oh.
There's options.
Is it like the car wash?
Yeah, there's options.
Okay.
And also for me, getting my nails done and getting a car wash quite similar.
Tell us.
Explain.
Yeah, wait.
I guess it's like a life admin thing that makes you feel good. I don't know why, but I really like to have a nice clean car and for the insides of my car to be clean as well. So I often go and just get a wee vacuum.
I know the feeling you're talking about. I have the same feeling when I cut my hair.
Yeah.
Because
so
I keep mine super short.
And also,
because it's falling out.
I really like having a nice fun colour that is like, it represents me as a person, you know?
It pops.
Yeah, I got a nice highlighter pink.
But what is it about having long nails that bugs you out?
Maybe
can't
it's
explain.
irrational.
Maybe it is irrational. I wonder. Oh, I just had a flashback to piano lessons when I was a kid. Yes, you can never have tapping fingernails.
Do you know what's funny about that is I don't actually think anyone should ever be taught never unless it was like about safety. Because
Exactly.
like,
I wasn't at risk.
yeah, no one's at risk if your nails are going to tap. And like maybe there's some opportunity in this world where nails tapping on a piano could actually be some freaking amazing someone's creative outlet. You know?
be.
You know, yeah, but if you're not allowed to explore that option, then you never know.
But do you think that's the link?
Maybe. Because I know if it gets longer than that, that's when I start to go, oh.
Well, because is it the feeling? You know how people, when they scrape their nails down a chalkboard, that grinds my gears. I'm just like...
Do you mind other people's nails being long?
No, I couldn't care less about other people's nails. It's only affectedness I get. I'm not judging anyone's nails, just heads up. It's just that when mine get to what I decide is too long, it creeps me out and I need to address it. So I've been anxious about my nails. That's what I've been up to.
I feel like that's a problem you can solve pretty swiftly.
Well, it is, because I can cut them. But I'd love to hear from any listeners who share my fear. I can't be the only one.
No, you won't be.
You won't be.
Sarah,
Yeah.
where's your body at?
My body's really good. What I wanted to talk about today, though, was gut feelings. So I think that it's been a really interesting journey for me, looking at how your body connects physically with your emotions. And so that sometimes you can have an emotional feeling about something, but you can actually like feel it in your body. And I feel like sometimes your body's more in tune with something that's right or wrong than how you might actually feel emotionally about it or cognitively know about it.
Yeah, there's just that feeling in the pit of your stomach or something that you know that...
Something's wrong and weird. Yeah.
Or you're trying to decide between an option and you know one is right and you're trying to do the other one and you're just like, you should have been doing this other thing the whole time.
But I think that we're maybe taught not to trust our gut feelings potentially a little bit because, or maybe I've had to come to learn to trust them more because they're always right, isn't it? Would you say?
I would say.
Well, you definitely remember the times when your gut feeling was proved right, when you had a feeling and then you did the other thing. You always remember those times, I guess.
Yeah.
It's hard to remember
the times when your gut
is like, just the same as what you decided.
But it's weird when you can physically feel something.
That's fascinating, actually, because you know how in art all feelings of love and pain are thought of to be from your heart.
Yeah.
And they literally thought that that was the case way back in medical science before they knew that actually your brain was the big dog running the show.
Yeah.
But you still feel it. You still feel things in your heart and you feel things in your gut as well. Because actually your heart bangs really fast because you physically feel it, and your gut's got loads and loads of nerves down there. It's such a nerve-rich part of your body.
Do you guys have, or do you folks have a relationship with gut feelings?
I've been taking mine a lot more seriously as you've been doing so the last year, actually, as you've been going, I'm going to listen to my gut. What about you?
I do. I definitely do. I know the times when I'm just hacking along at something and my gut is going, you dumbass. Like, you should have been doing this other thing, and then you go do it and everything falls into place and you're like, that was stupid.
I think it happens for positive and negative things.
How do you mean?
Well, like putting it in reference to like, I have a gut feeling about this person or something, you know? Which is usually a negative one. Or maybe I'd have a gut feeling like that they're really good.
I had a gut feeling about my partner.
I actually met someone recently that I had really cool gut feelings about when I met them, and I was like, oh, whoa, I know I'm going to hang out with you. And that has been the case. Oh my God, I had a gut feeling when I met you, babe.
No way.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I felt that, and it was just so... Like, yes.
We met at the art gallery, and I remember, because my friend Ed introduced me to you, and then we biked home, and I said to Ed, I'm going to be friends with that girl. Yeah. So it's like, I think gut feelings pull you in positive directions. And yeah, I'm definitely trying to trust mine a lot more at the moment. And I feel like mine are driving me actually forward.
That's cool.
Do you think you have to learn to listen to what your gut's telling you?
Yeah, I guess it depends. I mean, you can be around people that distract you from your gut feelings, you know?
I wonder if your gut feeling, in inverted commas, is another way of being more present in thinking about something.
Well, I mean, I've been doing lots of like looking into the like how your body, you know, how your body stores lots of stuff. I think our body's really smart, and it actually does tell you, you know, the things that you need to do and not do. You know, like when, like for example, I'm too full right now, but you know, I could have like listened to myself earlier a bit better and be like, oh yeah, I probably should just had the salad. You know, it's like it's constantly driving you to make good choices.
Just back to gut feelings. Yes. What do you think the distractions are that make us not follow those gut feelings?
Oh, I think that's a big question.
Maybe society or?
Yeah, maybe
society, man.
I was going to sound really radical and be like, oh, you know, well, I guess we get lots of really negative messages all the time. And I think especially women about trusting themselves and trusting their realities and trusting what's going on for them. And I think it's inherent in our society that we question our own selves. I don't know. Like, do you work towards trusting your gut, or do you just trust it? Like,
I mean, I try.
Do you not have any gut feelings about this, Mike?
I do. No, I do. The way I look at it is it's like an almost extra level of thinking that I apply to something. So I'll think about something logically and I'll make a decision, and I'll probably then stand back and look at that decision and go, how do I feel about this decision though?
See, I think this year I've been doing the opposite of that, because I've always been a really logical person. I'm like, right, this happens and we need to do this. This year I think I've been like putting my gut feeling first before the logic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which has been a real interesting shift.
Is that a Capricorn thing?
No, I'd say the previous version was a Capricorn thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa. Gut feelings, eh?
Cool. Where's your body at, Gemma?
It's hairy.
Oh.
In particular, my lower leg is quite hairy.
One leg.
Just one?
Legs.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Lower leg.
So my legs are hairy because I cannot be bothered shaving them, and it feels very visible because lots of people shave their legs, and it's still a thing where people, you know, are talking about, oh yeah, why haven't you shaved your legs? You know, I get a little bit of stick about it from people I know. But
like who?
My family.
People you know.
Yeah, generally.
Just my fam.
Just people who gave birth to me, generally they're pretty good. They're not body shaming. But it's so funny because this is natural. This is a natural thing. There is a purpose.
It's there for a reason.
It is there for a reason. It moves your skin around. It performs a function. We can cut that bit.
I think it's insulation in winter and keeps you cool in summer. That's what hair is, right?
Tiny for years. I feel like it's weird that it could be insulation, but anyway.
But it's weird that I feel like I am wrong, even though my legs are in a natural state.
This could be a gut feeling thing. Like what I'm saying is like, I feel fine in my thing, but society's saying, nah.
Yeah, it's weird. It is super weird. I do shave my armpits though, because otherwise I get stinky. And I like that.
I actually do the same.
Yeah.
If I get too stanky. Whenever I've got the clippers out to do my head, I do most of my body.
Do you?
Yeah.
Ah, is it so you can be more aerodynamic when you're cycling?
So I can run faster. No, it's absolutely not.
Are you not really a hair fan?
No, not really. I mean, that's fine. I wish I had a beard. We've discussed that at length.
We've been there. Yeah, patchy.
Anyway. But yeah, I'll generally just do my chest. I don't have time for that. I don't want that.
Does it get itchy?
No, not really. It's not that short. It's not like I shave it to the bone.
But why is it your preference?
I don't know. I'm just like, okay, zoop, there we go.
Yeah.
Zerp.
Is it uncomfortable?
Can be. It's just a bit sweaty.
And that's an uncomfortable feeling.
What do you have to say about all this hair stuff then? What are your thoughts? Do you have a stance?
I don't care what people do with their hair, really, but it's weird that I feel like I'm doing something that's unnatural or weird when this is what human bodies just do, and that's a natural thing, and that I feel it's quite visible. I'm not doing it for any political reason. I'm not shaving my legs because I can't be bothered. I literally cannot be bothered. It costs money. It hurts. I don't want to have to shave every day.
You don't have to.
I'm quite lucky because I have really, really thin hair on my legs, and so I could just go for months and it's fine. All things are fine, but it's just not a big deal in my life.
Can I tell you what happened in my head when I noticed that you had hairy legs yesterday? Because we were raking about in the veggie garden.
Did something happen in your head?
It definitely did, yeah. We were raking about in the veggie garden looking for zucchinis, and you were rocking your driving shorts. You were comfy yesterday.
I was so comfy.
You were.
And I definitely clocked it and went, oh yeah, Gemma's got hairy legs. And then inside my head I was just like, oh, okay then. I was just like, okay. But I definitely went.
Well, yeah, it was you noticed.
Bing, noticed.
It's like you don't notice the hair on my arms. They're quite light, actually.
Why don't women shave their arms if they shave their legs?
Fucking hell, imagine that.
The whole thing.
I just spend my whole entire life shaving all of my body so that I cannot contribute all the massive, awesome brains that I have into society. Hold on a minute. I'll just shave myself all day long. That would be a way better usage of my time, wouldn't it, everybody? Wouldn't it, society?
Upkeep.
Well, I just wondered.
But yeah, that's where my body's at. I just don't care about my leg hair. Ew.
Good.
I love how much you don't care about stuff.
I don't.
Well, but it's a good place to be, it's a good stance. We are speaking to Siobhan today. She's a queer master's student at the University of Canterbury with an academic focus on mana wahine and intersectional feminism.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Cool.
She divides her time between her 9-year-old son, study, loved ones, and just generally supporting awesome, cool arts and academic events around Christchurch.
Sounds exciting.
Cool. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
We are very excited to announce that we have our first sponsor. Woo! We would love to give a big shout out to
Mooma. Stop.
Yep,
Perfect,
that is
okay.
mooma.co.nz.
I have a question.
Yes.
What is Mooma?
Well, let me tell you about it, Mike.
Please do.
Mooma is an online store that stocks quality products that aren't going to bust the planet or be bad for your cool body.
Ooh, good.
Our pick this month is the Bagoo recycled reusable bag. And the cool stuff about Bagoo is, let me tell you,
please.
It is made from 40% recycled nylon, sourced from pre-consumer waste.
Check.
Tick. They carry up to 25 kgs, are super strong and fold down into their little tiny little squares.
Check.
And they are so damned cute. From solid colours to amazing images, you'll want to curate yourself a stunning set for your weekly shop. Check out all the cool designs on the website. Mike, I heard you're doing Dry July, but have you heard?
Ya?
I did. that actually. But have you heard of Plastic Free July?
No, please tell me more.
Well, I can't really tell you anything about it except that you should go plastic free for
That's what
July.
it is. Okay, yeah, cool. The clue's in the name.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But you can keep some bagoos on you at all times and you'll never have to buy one of those supermarket bags again. Problem solved.
Perfect.
I know. So show some love to Mooma for showing some love to us. Go to mooma.co.nz. What is it, Mike?
MOOMA.co.nz.
MOOMA.
Got it. .co.nz.
Mooma, spelled MOOMA.co.nz. Thank you, Mooma.
Thanks. Show them some love.
Woo!
Hey, Siobhan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'll just introduce myself. So I will provide my pepeha, which is a Māori way of introducing oneself and making connections with the other person, or making connection with your tribal lands. And then I will just talk a little bit about what I do. Ko taupiri tuku maunga, ko waikato tuku awa, ko tainoi tuku waka, ko tainoi tuku iwi, ko Ngāti Naho, Rawa, ko Ngāti Po, oku hapu, ko Mauria tuku marae, ko Siobhan aho. So I have just said that I am from the Tainoi region, and that is where I whakapapa back to through my father. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Siobhan. So nice to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
The first question that I have today is, what is a lie that you have been told about having a body?
I think a huge lie that we have predominantly in our culture in New Zealand, and also I guess throughout a lot of different countries and cultures, is that we have to be skinny. That is a massive lie, because bodies are what they are and they have different metabolisms, they're in different states, they're in flux all the time. You just have to look at any ancient artworks or any artworks from Indigenous peoples around the world, any texts that are available, to say that bodies are very varied and they come in all different states, you know.
100%, yeah. Have you had any thoughts about why this narrative exists?
I guess my views might be a little radical, but...
That's all right. Bring them on, babe.
I think as an intersectional feminist, I believe that especially women and femme people, we are told that we must be a specific way to be alluring to the male gaze. We are told that we must pursue a specific type of body in order to be valued. I think that we are also given these instructions to have this type of body in order to distract us from being political about ourselves and being unapologetic and actually making significant movements within our society that would better the lives of so many different people. So while we are told that we should focus on our bodies and on perfecting our bodies to be this kind of unrealistic thing, you know, we are not being critical and we are not creating movements and we are not being political in ways that advance or like help others.
Yeah. I see what you're saying there. So it's along the lines of, I guess if you're spending a lot of time and energy into managing your body, and because the narrative around that is so strong, that distracts you from contributing in ways that actually could potentially change the narrative or
even make you happy.
Make you happy, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, people are told that they must go to the gym and they must have this diet and they must take these powders and all of these things. And it's firstly like capitalism.
Yeah.
I mean, the health and diet industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry simply because of these narratives that we must obtain this body type and this is the way that you do it. And that is a lot of time and effort put into that. I mean, if you really do love going to the gym and working out and having, you know, there's a difference between doing it for enjoyment and because you love what it does.
Yeah.
And doing it to lose weight and doing it to get to a point of what you deem is acceptable for yourself.
I guess it's a fear-based reasoning,
yes,
or a self-care reasoning, and those two things can be quite different, I guess.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, you know, I've had gym memberships and
yeah,
like I enjoy walking my dog and getting up to the beach and like moving. That's the thing, is like the joy of movement, you know, and
totally.
the joy of pushing yourself and challenging yourself. But there is a difference between doing that for yourself and doing that for an image or for others.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think like image is interesting because, you know, I really value aesthetic and I love fashion and I love makeup and I love playing around with my identity and all of that. But I guess it's your approach to that is, I guess it can be really detrimental and unhealthy and oppressive.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
A girl loves some makeup, you know?
Yeah.
And there are totally days that I look at my body, my fat body, and think, girl, like, why are you like this? And then I wipe that away from my mind and just think, well, you're doing all these other amazing things. You have a lot of love in your life, and that's way more important than getting upset about your actually wonderful body.
Yeah, exactly. It's been quite a profound learning experience, I guess, for me, learning about how much these narratives are like inbuilt into our systems and things like that. How do you feel that these narratives affect you?
Personally?
Yeah.
I feel as though, because my body is also brown, there is certain ideologies around fat brown people. Maybe that we're lazy, maybe that we almost don't care about ourselves, or, you know, there's a lot of health statistics out there that are very negative about brown bodies, brown fat bodies in general, brown bodies in general. So I guess I feel as though sometimes when I'm in public, people may like look at me in a certain light, but to be fair, I don't really care. But what I do is I actually talk about my experiences a lot with the people in my lives, and I'm really open and honest about loving my fat body, loving my brown body, and you know, I have friends who are a similar size as well, and yeah, we just live our damn lives, and you know.
That's awesome. That's cool. It's awesome that you've got lots of people in your life that you feel comfy to chat to about these things. And
even my friends who are of, you know, like smaller sizes and stuff, their experiences are just as valid as mine, and we discuss bodies very openly, and some of my friends do acknowledge that they do have like a thin privilege. They can walk through spaces and be in spaces and just be accepted, where in other places bodies like mine are not, or they're objectified in a way. I have a friend who is the most incredible like weightlifter. She has lost weight through doing like weightlifting and stuff, but she has had very varied experiences at gyms with people being intimidated by the amount that she can weightlift, people being inspired by a fat person being in a gym, people objectifying her because of that.
Wow, it's quite exhausting, you know, just like, it's like you can't win, you know?
Yeah.
Have you had any difficult experiences relating to your body that you'd like to share, and how you managed working through that?
So I think something obvious for women of like larger bodies is clothing industries. So I listen, there's a podcast called Friend of Marilyn, which is run by Kat Porzay. She lives in New Zealand. She's a great academic. And a lot of the stuff that is on her podcast is fashion related. And I mean, she talks about a massive amount of different things relating to fat bodies. But a lot of the time she'll talk to women and they'll just say, I'm sized out of that shop, which pretty much means like, you know, some women cannot shop at places like Kmart or anything like that because they're sized out. And I mean, when you can't clothe your body in a way that makes you feel empowered and makes you feel good, I think that has really detrimental effects on well-being and mental health and
even what that means.
Yeah.
Like the act of that and what that means. It's like, oh, okay, we're actually only going to have clothing items that fit this type of body. And it's like, it's what is that saying to people?
And to be honest, there are a lot of times I go into shops and like clothes will fit in specific areas, so like it'll fit around my hips and my waist, but my boobs, like they get squashed. I'm like, I don't feel like my boobs are like too big, but when I put clothes on and my boobs are squashed, I'm like, ouch. Like, can we just have a little bit more, I don't know,
room to move?
Yeah.
Yeah, God, I feel like that could be a catchphrase for this freaking whole podcast. We just have a little bit of room to move.
Yes. Sounds like a great catchphrase.
Just like, quit with these narratives, everybody. Need some room to move. That sucks.
It does. Yeah. I'm relatively lucky that I find great clothes and I feel like I look good. So.
Yeah, of course you do. Do you have any great suggestions clothing-wise?
Yeah, so boohoo.com.
Okay, cool.
And A Girl Loves Kmart. Although, should I be really advertising this, like, capitalist thing? Also, the Warehouse has, like, really great options and stuff as well. I kind of am over City Chic. I feel like they have, like, a specific style. If you like that style, then that's great, but they're also very expensive. But boohoo.com is really good.
Put that on, It's always good to have a few references for people to look up after they listen. And what is the coolest thing about being in your body?
So a cool thing about my body is I have tattoos, and I love tattoos, and I have lots of space for tattoos.
Yes.
Which makes me really happy. But also, I like being sexual, and I like being like active, like I'm always busy. I know, I guess that's really cool stuff about my body, the way it moves, and yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, bodies are cool. And how do you think that we can be allies for each other in this world?
Yeah, so I think that people should practice like intentional kindness. So being very intentional about the way that they're interacting with people, maybe trying to notice more nuanced things, and just recognize that we're kind of moving past a binary way of life as well. So people don't either have to be one thing or another. They can be kind of in between, and that is totally fine, especially when we're talking about gender and sexuality, talking about body sizes as well. And also, yeah, I guess just recognising that everybody's experience in the world is varied, and having respect for people's situations, and perhaps just, being a bit more kind to each other.
Yeah. How would you describe being more kind? Like, what does that look like?
So in Māori we have a term called manaki, which is you look after your people. And I think that is a great concept that I personally try and do that as much as I can. But that's also like a reciprocal thing as well. So like within manaki, you take care of your people and your people take care of you. I think as an action, consent, and to be honest, I'd really love it if people were more physically engaged with each other. I think that we are so bound in our own bodies and we don't really touch each other, which is strange because we're such physical, emotional, spiritual beings, and with the consent of the other person, I think hug somebody.
I love hugs.
I think, but definitely get that consent first, because non-consensual touching is not okay.
Of course. But hugs are cool. Yes. And you said before you referred to respect. What does respect look like for you?
I think that respect comes with an understanding of like a varied experience. It means treating people in a way that you would kind of want to be treated. I mean, children are taught that.
We tend to be quite good at actively doing kindness to towards children. I mean, obviously, that's not always the case. But, I don't know, maybe as adults we get a little less good at that, treating other adults with respect. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for an example is when you're driving and you don't know what type of day another driver is having, and if they don't indicate and then they turn, you do feel that frustration. I mean, I yell at people all the time, but we don't know, and that's the thing is we don't know what that person is going through or what they're experiencing. They may be late, it might be an emergency, they may be feeling really flat and just forgot.
There's a backstory.
Yeah, everybody has a backstory. Everybody has a reason why they do what they do.
Yeah, they sure do. I guess it's just about creating boundaries around what you feel you can be around.
Yes. Yeah. That is very important.
Yeah.
Boundaries are very important. Saying no. You're okay. You're allowed to say no.
Saying no is kind sometimes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, a lot of the time probably.
If you're in a state of mind and somebody brings maybe some heavy stuff to you and just communicate to them that you can't right now, you can maybe later, but
tricky one about boundaries is because we never really taught, no one sits you down and says, hey, here's boundaries 101,
especially femme people who are identify as women or as femme as childhood. We are totally taught that we're meant to be putting other people first.
100%. And I also think it's not even just your own internal boundary around that, but the expectation level is higher, that
Absolutely.
Of giving from I guess I'm femme, a woman, I've never really thought about it all that much, but then just thinking about it, I often feel that sort of pressure.
Yes. I'm a mother. My boundaries have been very porous because of being a mother. I'm also married to a man. So we have had to have lots and lots of negotiations about his expectations of what a female partner is to do, and it's been a ride.
Yeah. What are you most proud of as a person in this world?
There are a few things that I'm proud of. Firstly, my child. He's actually a really incredibly patient and happy boy. He is very loving and very cuddly. I'm very proud of him. I'm proud of myself for coming out as queer.
Yes.
Because that was a huge struggle for decades. I'm proud of the academic work that I've done because it centres, mana wahine and intersectional feminism, and I get to talk about some really incredible, hard things in my academic work, but I am really looking forward to the future of what I can produce and who I can get involved with and what communities I can sort of tap into. And
could you talk to us a little bit about your studies? Well, I'd love to learn a little more about what you're studying and what you're doing and why. So I'm just about to start my master's in cultural studies. My master's thesis is utilising young wahine poetry in order to discuss the lived realities of young Māori women. Wow.
Because it's an area that's not really been touched on before. I mean, there's, of course, some literature around young Māori women, but unfortunately a lot of it is around teen pregnancy and domestic violence. And I kind of don't want that to be the pool of work that's out there. So I'm going to be taking a lot of inspiration from older mana wahine academics and kaupapa Māori academics, philosophies from African diasporas, so people who have been taken away from Africa. They have some incredible philosophies and quite relevant to the Indigenous experience as well. And I'm probably going to be intersecting bodies into that somehow because as Māori women, we have brown skin, and quite often that can show up in our society in specific ways with specific ideals attached to that. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the next, it's a 1-year thesis because I'm going to be meeting some incredible wahine. And I'm going to be having some incredible discussions. And yeah, I hope that I get to do justice to the experience of a Māori woman.
That's awesome. Wow, how exciting.
Yeah.
Are you just beginning that journey?
I've sort of developed some ideas around things over the past maybe 4 months. Although I was going through my notes on my iPhone, and in 2016 I wrote something about looking at young Māori women's experience in the world, and I was like, wow, I was thinking about it back then. So it's kind of like a thing that's been building, I think. And I read a poetry book by takatāpui, her poetry book Po Kahangatas, and it really solidified how poetry from a young Māori woman can actually give a really rich account of the experiences of living as a young Indigenous person in this country. And she's pretty incredible. So
wow, that's awesome. Yeah. I'm interested to know, in Māori culture, the relationship with your body, is there I'm guessing there's a major difference than the narratives that are being established in the Western world. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I guess something that I've come to realise, is that a lot of our oral traditions, women are of the earth, women are related to life and death. Yeah. And so those are very bodily things, you know. We have Papa Tōnuku, who is the whenua. Yeah. We have Hiniahuone, who is the first woman who was made out of the clay of the earth, and various other wahine atua, female gods, that are involved in life and death. Yeah. And it's a really incredible thing when you relate it to, I guess we're talking about cis women being able to produce life. So in Māori we also have a term, te whare tangata, which is the uterus, which means the house of people. And it's very tapu, and things like menstruation and stuff like that are also very tapu because it is literally dealing with death and life. Our relationship with our body is also a relationship with our whenua, with our land, our relationship with our whānau and our hapu, our families, with our communities.
It definitely makes me think how far these kind of oppressive narratives that have been established over time around bodies, how distant they are from caring for oneself or others. I don't think humans innately feel a lack of caring for another person or their own bodies, you know what I mean? It's weird, isn't it? It's when you start thinking about it more, you realize how much of a story it is. It's just oh, okay. It's just, I don't know, I still get gobsmacked learning about all this stuff.
Well, over time, we were living in collective groups. Yeah. Humans were tribal beings, and in Aotearoa we had the urbanization of Māori people. So they went from living in collective, whānau and hapu groups, to living in individual houses, to having very small amounts of people living in the houses and going to work for money. And that sort of process takes you away from other people. And while you're in spaces with other people, it's a different type of space, the work environment. You're all there in a professional capacity. You're not there just to hang out. So the focus isn't actually on each other. The focus is on the work. And when you go to class at university or you go anywhere, go to the gym, go to the beach, you know, you're not there connecting with the other bodies there. You are there with an intention.
It reminds me a little bit of what you were saying earlier in this chat about how there's when we're focused on the flaw or the wrongness of the body, it distracts us from actually being present with people around us or anything. It's like it's the same, essentially the same thing you're talking about.
Yeah. We choose to distract ourselves, and I guess I feel like we don't really connect with each other as much as we kind of could.
Yeah, totally.
Imagine, I in a lot of conversations I have with people in my life, because I do love to spend very close time and quality time with people, is the potential that comes out of being vulnerable in those spaces and being honest and open with each other and being loving with each other. There is a huge amount of potential, and the potential I'm talking about is like creating ideas, building self-love. It is moving your thoughts and your mood and everything into a space that where you can create specific things for yourself.
Well, I remember Sonia Renee Taylor saying something along the lines of oppression thrives in isolation. And so, you know, when you deeply connect with another person and you're seen and like you're supported and you're loved, it seems to me that's like when you can move away from these things that we've been, you know, talking about potentially. It's just a bit of a theory, I guess, but I don't know how you feel about that. But,
I said that I was proud of myself for coming out as queer.
Yeah.
And what that has done is now I'm more open.
Yeah.
I have felt that I have created some really incredible connections with people. I mean, I have a lover that I have been seeing for about 7 months who we just have this really incredible connection, and so many of my like great ideas have come out of deep discussion with them, and like
feeling supported by others is so important,
very important. But also like recognizing how to support others, because that is really tricky actually. Like there are a lot of people in our society who are not taught how to support, they're not taught how to love. And I think that, you know, especially as a mother, I'm trying to teach my son how to love and support other people in a way that he can also take care of himself as well, I think.
It's so important. It's like foundation of society and community. That's all the questions that I have. I meant to ask you a funny question, but I've just don't have one.
That's totally fine.
I was like trying to think of something. That was probably funny enough, really. We to ask you a funny question, but I don't have one.
Into the bin.
All right.
Hi, gang.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, Siobhan.
Hi, Siobhan.
Hello.
How's it going?
Great.
I feel like we've said too many highs.
Hi.
Need to edit some of those out.
Sarah. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi, Mike.
Gemma.
How's it going?
Bonjour.
What have you brought to put in the bin today?
So there's a word that I have chosen that I feel is no longer needed, pretty much. And that's the word normal.
Yeah, I'd like to clap for that one.
Big
round of applause.
Yeah.
We were hoping someone would bring
I
that
might
in.
keep going for a while because it's a really good word.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Because I think that normal has a set of ideals attached to it that, you know, are oppressive towards pretty much everybody. They're built upon patriarchal, capitalist, like sexist, racist, ableist, all those ists views. So we don't need normal anymore.
One thing
Into the bin.
Into the bin. Okay.
Agreed. One thing that grinds my gears that I always mention to my partner is when I ask what kind of tea they want, they say, "Can I have normal tea?" And I'm like, whoa. I know it's you know, not a bit. Yeah, it's just, but is something that I notice people saying, and I'm just like, stop, because of all those reasons.
Who decided what normal was?
Well,
and also, like, okay, I mean, if we think about it, literally every single cup of tea that's ever made is going to be different from another cup of tea. Like, no cup of tea is exactly the same.
If you ask for a normal tea in a dim sum restaurant, what are you going to get? It's not going to be brown English tea.
Yeah.
Is it?
Nope.
With a big slug of milk in it.
No.
Which is because normal is a broken word, isn't it? Because normal's only, to use a terrible cliche, it's like beauty in the eye of the beholder. It's just whatever you think normal is.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Or whatever you've been taught normal is.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
So, we have been, I guess, moulded into thinking what normal and normalcy looks like. But it's all a farce.
And it's pretty boring. It's like, snooze.
Okay, I wrote something down before. Normal is just another word for consensus. It's a general consensus. It's not actually the norm. And I also looked up the dictionary definition, and it's not what is right. It is all like what is...
it's just what is universally accepted, or what is in a majority accepted,
Yeah.
And accepted is a weird word as well, but...
Another one is natural. Like, I'm not a fan of natural. Especially coming from an Indigenous studies background. There's a lot of assumptions placed upon natural. So when we think of natural, we think of like nature, and we think of like animals and like flora and stuff like that. Natural embodies another set of ideals about, I guess in a lot of philosophy and Indigenous academic work, it is placing especially Indigenous peoples in a subhuman, because like there's a binary between nature and like civilized, and so I guess that's what natural brings up for me. But that also for me is like normal. So like we have normal versus non-normal, normal versus other, like
because if something's not normal, it's abnormal. So there's that binary that when you start using it,
there's
sort of excludes others straight away.
But I was going to say, like, normal though, like it's super weird because it's actually not real. Like, it just literally does not exist.
No, it doesn't.
Slavery
it doesn't
used to be normal. It's like it's these things
Perfection doesn't exist. I don't get normal.
That's why we're gonna throw it away.
With natural. I just want to get an understanding of that, because did you say you wanted to throw the word natural in the bin?
Or maybe not in the bin, but just be conscious of the way that we use it. Because
like, as in, I have a natural look.
I guess I was just thinking about like the way that it's used in anthropology, that's been used in colonization and stuff like that. So like Indigenous peoples being more natural, being more part of the land, and I mean, we do have this incredible relationship with the land, but it doesn't mean that our ideas and our bodies are subhuman. It doesn't mean that because we're not westernized or, don't have these westernized concepts that we're not like civilized or anything like that. So we were talking about how humans were living in collective groups, and especially like Māori people living in hapu and whānau groups, and how the urbanisation of Māori people sort of fractured that because everyone then started living in individual housing. And so, I mean, could you imagine if we were to, I guess, reverse that process and start living in collective groups again? Would that be seen as non-normal? And then you have these sets of ideas that's placed upon that, like it's a cult or something like that.
When something is existing outside of what the majority of people think is the way things are done,
have been told
things are done,
coerced into believing,
then that's kind of what I mean. So and you're talking about there, living in a different way, not in the 2 up 2 down house with the 2 generations max. You have 2 parents and 2.5 children, or you have
nuclear family,
which is very clinical and sterilized.
Nuclear gives me the creeps. That word. I mean, I'm not like super into it. Like a nuclear family makes me feel
Let's throw that one away too.
Slightly nervous. Confuse you on. So I think about the word normal a lot, which is annoying. I was just thinking, what is a way that you can like not use that word? Say if you're talking about yourself as anyone in here this room being like within the normative, blah, blah, blah. Can you somehow pull that word out of the sentence? Because I don't even want to have it in the sentence, because when I have it in the sentence, I'm still kind of like in that system. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You're just sort of perpetuating the ideas of what normal is.
Normal. So it's like, how do you just kind of like remove yourself from not using the word normal?
I think as a general culture, our language is shifting.
Yeah.
And as people become more exposed through things like social media and stuff like that, we're finding new ways to describe things and understanding that normal is a very restricted view of things. So I think maybe just each person recognizing that the way that they use language does oppress others. I don't know another word, because then you'd just be perpetuating the same thing.
Or what I keep thinking about when we're talking about all of this stuff is how like fucked it is, because there is so much entitlement around claiming that you as a culture know what fucking normal is.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the continuing of colonialism as well.
Yeah.
So our schooling system, there are changes occurring slowly in terms of using things like te reo Māori and stuff like that, and understanding Indigenous thought in this country. Can't really say much for others. I don't know. But yeah, like there's always been that power dynamic between westernized ideologies and then the other.
Yeah. The key issue here is that the word normal is power trip.
It is.
Yeah.
And it holds power. It perpetuates power.
And it makes people live to standards that are imposed on them. It's like judging a fish on how well it can climb a tree. I mean, some fish can climb trees actually, so well. But, it's kind of...
What's positive about the word you've brought is that it's not difficult to practice not using it. I don't think it's... I think it's something that actually you can actively go and try to not do.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's like with many things that we are learning about in this day and age. We have... I guess in the gender spectrum, people who identify as like non-binary genders, who want to be called they, them, or a variation of that. And it's actually really easy to change that language, because it's just about being intentional and conscious of those things and respecting other people.
And sometimes you get it wrong. I know, using the they, them pronoun, I actively try to do it. Sometimes I've slipped and have used a gendered term. But if that happens...
Take responsibility
take responsibility for it, absolutely, and work on it.
It's not impossible. It's like it's so achievable.
Yeah.
I've started doing it at work. I noticed the other day I was talking to a boss and I was doing all gender neutral pronouns, and I was like, I'm talking in gender neutral pronouns like all the way through, but I was like, I wonder if I'm in an environment where they know what I'm communicating. And so I just explained it to them. I was like, I'm just letting you know that I'm using this pronoun because I've been trying to do that more in my life, and that's the thing that I'm going to do. Do you understand?
Did they?
Yeah, they were like, that's good.
That's cool. Someone gendered my bass guitar the other day, and I was like, no.
What gender did they give it?
I think it was he.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's gender neutral. But it is not of any specific gender. Thank you very much.
I'm going to be a real bore and suggest that we put this
Wrap
in the bin
it up.
and move on. So, we all agree, normal, in the bin.
In the bin.
Smash it in the bin.
Yeah,
Don't use it anymore.
squish it and squash it and put it in a bin.
Smash it up.
Making a little
Goodbye.
nursery rhyme.
Bye.
Bye.
Good day.
Cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Siobhan, you brought some cool stuff along to share with us. What was the cool thing?
I've been reading a lot of academic stuff because I'm going into my master's. But something I do want to share with everybody is Dr. Elizabeth Kerekere's PhD thesis, which does sound boring to other people, but it is about the experiences of takatāpui Māori people. And takatāpui is a term that is used for the queer community in the Māori community, and it's really incredible. It's really eye-opening, discusses a lot of really interesting experiences of being takatāpui and being Māori and those intersections.
Is it about current culture or is it historical?
Both.
Oh,
So she did some qualitative, interviews with people now, dives into the, I guess, etymology of it and the oral traditions surrounding it, discusses pre-European sexuality. It's quite difficult because obviously through the process of colonisation we've lost a lot of knowledge. There are oral traditions of same-sex lovers. In terms of gender, we do have some kind of gender-neutral pronouns, one being ia, which is IA, and that is a gender-neutral term to address somebody. I know that there was a different type of view on sexuality. There are accounts of kind of first contact between European and Māori people. So marriage is a very westernised Christian concept, but there were, I guess, alliances made specifically for the ariki lines, so like the chiefly lines. You would make economic marriages. So some said that they were not allowed to kind of engage in sexual activity outside of that sort of relationship because they were so tapu. But for a larger part of the society, it kind of was open, which is really interesting.
Okay, I've been listening to a lot of Stephen Fry and his mythos books about the Greek gods and everything. It's actually got quite an interesting parallel with ancient Greece regarding sexuality. So many same-sex relationships, like all over the place. It was just what happened. It was just everyone getting with everyone.
Yeah. Well, and, in a lot of our oral traditions, it is based around sex and it's based around bodies and how those connect. I mean, I think the idea of what we have as gender and sexuality is definitely not the same as what pre-European Māori would have had, because we have this set of ideals on what sex and sexuality looks like. So we're kind of indoctrinated into thinking of it that way. But pre-European Māori would have had their own ideas and their own ways of doing things, and unfortunately we can't really tap into that unless we had a time machine. But and even then we would be skewed by our own knowledge. So yeah.
Is it easy to be in a same-sex relationship if you're from a Māori background,
Yeah. From different people that I've spoken to, it has not been an issue. It's kind of always been something that's been around, aunties on the marae who are together. It's different, not so stigmatised. Everybody's whānau. In my own personal experience, I have a cousin who is in a same-sex relationship and it's, just, I almost said normal. Yeah, they are happy and everybody's happy and yeah.
I have a really stupid question. Most of them are. How does one go about reading a PhD? Like, where do you find them? Is they in the library or what?
Oh, yeah. Literally, just Google Elizabeth Kelleher PhD and it will come up. The website is takatāpui.nz and that is spelt TAKATAPUI.nz. If you go there, you'll learn about Elizabeth Kelleher and Rainbow Youth and lots of different things, and you can download her PhD, Part of the Whānau, The Emergence of Takatāpui Identity, He Whāraki Takatāpui. PhD thesis, 2017.
Awesome.
Very cool.
And then you can tell people that you've read a PhD thesis.
Thank you so much for bringing us your cool stuff and for being normal.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Cool Bodies Club.
Thank you.
Again, if you love what we do and want to hear more of it, please head over to coolbodies.club/donate, which is a great website. Thank you for joining in on this.
Is it because I made that?
Yeah, it was because you made that.
It's actually good.
Sarah made the website, and
it is pretty good.
It's an okay website.
It's pretty good.
Michael.
Why don't you tell us everything that you love about the website, Mike?
That it's got a donate button.
It's got a donate button.
Great stuff. You can hit that donate button and give us whatever you can afford.
Ideally, cute if the button made a little noise when you donated, like
ching.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Or woo, or
I love you.
I could say that. That'd be creepy when technology starts saying I love you.
Hey Siri, I love you.
That's sweet, but it's not meant to be.
That hurt my feelings.
Fuck you, Siri. If you can't give us cash, you can be an ally by subscribing, leaving a review, or telling your friends so even more people can join the club.
Join the club.
Sarah did not want to join in on that one. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Instagram at coolbodiesclub, on Twitter at coolbodiesclub, or by emailing hi at coolbodies.club. And you can look out for our episodes on the last Monday of the month. Ding.
Bye.
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 Oh, can we do like a bye?
I don't know,
let's do
can
it.
we?
Yeah, I'll do the bass.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Perfect.